We're going to come into a mindful soul flow this morning, starting from a place of ease, a place of restorative support in constructive rest, and bringing the focus to your breath. So the first action, simply bringing focus to your breath. And I invite you to draw the breath down into the space of the lower belly. And as you do so, you might bring your hands onto that space of the lower belly to really guide the breath. It might be enough to simply bring the attention to that space. But the exploration is if we can expand, extend, and connect to the flow of our breath in our body. The belly rising, the lower back extending into the earth. Just finding a rhythm here. And this connection to breath is like the bridge that we walk across from the moments of our life into this pause, this space of practice. And as always in practice, I want to strongly encourage you to attune to a deep sense of listening as we flow for the next hour or so. Each of you bring different experiences of yourself to the mat, different physical, emotional spaces, and more than ever I'm unable to see each of you, and so please listen to your body. There should be no pain ever. Attend to what is here now. Attend to the experience as it arises in each moment. Become a great nurturer and protector of your own being. And that begins from a place of listening, of noticing. And today, in our third soul flow session, we're going to continue with this exploration of the chakras that we've been journeying through each week. And we find ourselves arriving at Manipura. Manipura, the space of the solar plexus, in the diaphragmatic area. And traditionally, when I teach from this space of Manipura, we're coming into the sense of action. This yang fire power. The color of Manipura is a yellow, and you can imagine it like the burning brightness of the sun, and it has that same quality, the sun, the masculine, the evolution, the creating, the doing. And so we often come into this connection of a sense of fire, of power. But it's really struck me this last week from my own experience of where we find ourselves at the moment in this strange reality, that as humans we have this often constant desire for change, for changing ourselves in some way. And we talked about this on Monday in the yin class, but it felt appropriate. It felt important somehow to continue bringing that same message into our yang class, into the flow class. Because this constant desire to change ourselves that can be underpinned by language of I must, I could, I should, can send this perpetual, subtle and sometimes not so subtle message of a sense of not enoughness, a sense of unworthiness somehow. And I don't know if this has felt true for you at all in this period of being at home, of being homebound. And initially, though, this real energy of like, this is an opportunity, this is a retreat, this is your time, you'll never have a moment like this again. And with that, for me, came this immense sense of initially what felt like opportunity, but eventually sort of transitioned into a sense of pressure. You know, all these goals, it's like, now's the time, I'm going to do all those online courses, I'm going to learn the harmonium, I'm going to work out each day, I'm going to do yoga every day, I'm going da 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 da, you know, and on and on and on. And now I arrive in week 5 and I'm exhausted. And I don't know if that resonates for anyone, this sense of actually the energy that comes from this continual state of changing ourselves and improving. And perhaps as a side message, the reality is that this isn't a retreat. This is a global crisis of sorts. And so I was joking with my sister about this last week, who she was also having the same experience of, you know, do you think people in the World War II were feeling guilty that they didn't practice enough yoga? It's like, probably not. And so even though we come into this space of Manipura today, this space of our solar plexus and our sense of doing and our power, there's something about the quality of how we choose to act. So it's something about our choices and the energy behind those choices, the beliefs behind those choices. Are our actions coming from a place of not enoughness? Are they coming from a belief of unworthiness, of a need to change? Is there an I must, I could, I should? You know the favorite saying, stop shoulding all over yourself. All of these come with judgments. And all of these also trigger into our sympathetic nervous system, the state of doing, of fight or flight. And so there's a sense of urgency, of battling when we're in that place. And so the invitation today is to act from a place of self-energy. Self-energy, the energy that we find ourselves in when we are the witness in our meditation practice, when we're able to observe, when we're able to unblend from the reactivity of being and instead become the witness to our experience, welcoming all aspects of it. And there are 3 qualities that well, there are actually 6, but the 3 primary qualities that I find to be most accessible to understand and to sense into of this self-energy is compassion, calm, and curiosity. And so that is the foundation that I offer this practice today, the invitation for you to explore finding your way through the practice with curiosity, letting go of an idea of how things could, should, or must be, and instead seeing if there can be a curiosity, well, how is this in my body? How are my energy levels today? What do I need? Then we ease into the compassion with the curiosity. What is here? Well, how might I respond to this in a way of compassion? And from there, the invocation of the calmness. May we find calmness through the breath, through this relinquishing of expectation and this opening into curiosity and compassion. Pausing to absorb, pausing to register the felt sense of the practice, and pausing to check in with our connection to self and truth through the practice today. That is the invitation, the exploration as we begin to flow. Bringing knees into the chest. If you're listening to music with the practice, then now might be the time you just gently press play. Otherwise, simply hugging knees into the body. Maybe circling knees one way and the other before rolling to your right side. Finding your way onto your right side, and from there supporting yourself to come to a position of all fours. Coming to all fours on your mat. Knees beneath hips, hands beneath shoulders. And just take a moment, close the eyes, and just check in with what is here now. How is your energy level? How are your emotional levels? Where is the body and where is the mind in this moment? Not even today, in this moment, what is here? And from that commitment, that willingness to listen, begin to let the movement arrive in your body. And there is no right and wrong. This might take form of cat-cow, but rather with the eyes closed, see if there can be fluidity, this cultivating of curiosity. What might that look like as you curl through the spine one way and other, perhaps curling through cat-cow, maybe just finding your way to free movement. If you've recently got out of bed, then maybe there's parts of you feeling a little stiffer and maybe they need a bit more attention. Perhaps easing there, perhaps the hips sink down one way and then to the other. Beginning to find a confidence in trusting that if you listen, the body will guide you to where it needs, desires, yearns to move. Now joining and finding all of our ways into cat-cow. As you inhale, tailbone extends, heart extends forward. Exhale, curl deeply, tucking tailbone, shoulder blades part. And continue that flow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Find tabletop position, plant hands, tuck toes, and find yourself to downward dog. Hands shoulder width apart. Look at the hands, look at the fingers, check index finger in particularly is grounding into the earth. Suction fingertips slightly, and from that begin to walk one foot and the other. Again, this process of checking in, of attuning. Find a neutral position, bend the knees deeply, extend up through sitting bones to the sky, perhaps with a wiggle. And then keep that length through the spine as you extend heels back down towards the earth. 3 deep breaths here, from downward dog. And on the end of the 3rd breath, as you inhale, extend the right leg back behind you. Draw heel in towards buttocks, and then open that knee up towards the sky. Keep the shoulders parallel to the earth. Keep both hands deeply connected to the earth. And then perhaps there's a circling the thigh bone into the joint of the hip. On your next inhale, extend straight back. And as you exhale, step that right foot all the way through. You might help as necessary. Left knee comes down to the earth. Notice how my left knee is behind my left hip. So I'm really sinking into the left hip flexor. And then from here, the hands can rise up to the sky. Feel the ribs and draw them gently back towards the spine. And as you do so, notice the engagement, through the core, the tailbone naturally drawing down to the earth. Hug the thighs in towards one another and up towards the sky, so you're strong and secure in your foundation. As you exhale, bring hands to the earth and sweep yourself back onto your heel. It might be that you have your bricks ready, perhaps these are books supporting you, so you can really find the space as you inhale to lengthen through the crown, exhale to fold. Coming into this half split pose, the more upright and active that right foot, the deeper the hamstring stretch. Keep drawing right hip back, left hip forwards. And now just close the eyes and find that curiosity. How is it now? What is this experience? And how might I deepen even just a little? Or how might I create more space in this pose? Each of the asana positions are invitations, they're shapes into which I invite you, and from that place you can expand as your body desires to feel your own edges of each pose. Rock forwards onto the right foot, left hand comes to the earth beneath the left shoulder, right hand extends up to the sky. Keep that, otherwise perhaps lifting that left knee for 3 breaths. Press down to the earth, lift through the fingers. For 2, extending back strong through the left heel. And for 1, hand comes down to the earth, moving props if necessary. Either step back to downward dog or find yourself in plank pose. Extend back through heels, extend forward through the chest. Knees come to the earth, lower the chest and the chin. See how my elbows hug into my side body. Inhale, shoulders away from ears, cobra. Tuck toes, exhale, downward dog. Let's take that to the opposite side. Inhale, left foot extends back, heel to buttock, open. Find that space, both hands deeply connecting, shoulders parallel to the earth. Inhale the leg back, and then step that foot all the way through. Help as necessary, back knee to the earth. Hands can come onto the thigh to support. Feel that right hip drawing forward and sinking into right hip flexor. Ribs hug back toward the spine. Engage the thighs in and up, and then from that place extend for 3 breaths. For 2. And for 1, hands come to the earth, sweep yourself back, finding your way to an Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split pose. Keep drawing left hip back, right hip forward, heart extends, and bow down. Again, the eyes can close, this curiosity. How might I expand like the breath and the body into this pose? The compassion, what do I need right now? Do I need the blocks, the bricks? How can I serve myself? What would friendship, kindness look like? Rock yourself forwards onto the left sole of the foot, right hand beneath the right shoulder, left hand curls, rises to the sky, back leg can lift for 3 breaths. Third breath, hand comes down to the earth, step back to downward dog or into plank. Yogi's choice as you lower, perhaps lowering the whole body down to the earth. Maybe knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Remember, you can come to child's pose at any point in your practice. And we're going to flow through that same sequence 2 more times. I'm going to guide you, but I'd love for you to follow your own breath and your own rhythm of practice. So it might be the eyes soften or close as we continue to flow 2 more times through that same practice. So from downward dog, as you inhale, the right leg extends back behind you. Heel can come in towards the buttock. circling into the hip. Extend back, pressing space away. And then step that foot all the way through. Back knee comes down to the earth, hands rise to the sky, grounding down, lifting up. From here, coming down, hands to the earth, sweeping onto the heel. Inhale, lengthen through the heart, exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Rock yourself forwards, left hand beneath left shoulder, right hand to the sky, tuck toes and lift. Active back leg, the sense of expansion through the body. Hand comes down to the earth, yogi's choice, vinyasa, find your way to plank, maybe straight to downward dog. Knees, chest, chin, full lowering, perhaps there's a chaturanga to upward facing dog now. Exhale, downward dog. Taking it to the opposite side, inhale, left foot extends back. Heel into the buttock, creating this circling motion through the joints. Inhale, extend the left leg back behind you. Exhale, step it all the way through between the hands. Back knee down, inhale, hands rise to the sky. Find a pulsation and then sink into the space of strength and connection through the earth, opening through the heart. Hands come to the earth, sweep back onto the left heel. Finding the waves through the spine as you explore the edges of this pose. Rock forwards, left foot, hand beneath the right shoulder and extend, twisting to the sky. Back leg super active, press down and lift up, opening like a flower unfurling towards the sunlight. Hand to the earth, yogi's choice, either knees, chest, chin, plank to the earth, otherwise halfway point, elbows aligned to rib cage, roll over, super active legs, upward dog. Finding your way to downward dog through whichever flow honors your body, and slowly, so slowly, taking this one last round. And I'm going to just say the name of each pose without cueing so you can really drop into your own body and experience. Right leg extends back. Heel into buttock, circling. When you're ready, step through, that right foot comes through, left knee to the earth, hands rise, crescent pose. In your own time, find your way to your half split pose. Like water, dancing yourself forward, planting the foot, extending, opening to a twist. And in each of these poses, there can be your own dance. Hand comes to the earth, take the vinyasa, yogi's choice. Meeting back in downward dog for the final flow on the left side. In your own time, left leg extends back, inhale. Coming through into Crescent Lunge, Anjaneyasana. Back knee to the earth, hands to the sky. Melt forwards, find half splits pose. Ardha Hanumanasana. Rock forwards, right hand beneath right shoulder. Left hand to the sky, that leg might lift. Hand to the earth, step back, yogi's choice. Keeping shoulders away from ears. Find your way to child's pose. Resting in child's pose, Know that you can always come back to this place at any point in the practice. No need to wait to be invited. In this spirit of self-energy, of compassion, curiosity, calmness. Know that this deep listening will guide us back to rest and reset when we need. Rock yourself forwards, all fours. Tuck toes, downward dog. Inhale, right leg extends back. Exhale, step it through, all the way through. And this time we come into a high lunge. The back leg is lifted. Maybe hands come onto the thigh, so you can really sink into that left hip flexor. And from here, hands rise up to the sky. Make sure that the lower ribs aren't protruding as we collapse in the lower back. Instead, keep them drawing in towards the spine, puffing out through the kidneys and the back body. So you can feel this connection to this lower space. From here, bring hands down to the earth, keeping the feet at least hip distance apart. Take the back sole of the foot to the earth, toes facing forward. Draw right hip back, left hip forward. Again, having these bricks might be really helpful for you as we come into pyramid pose. Continue drawing right hip back, left hip forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. For 3 breaths here. A continual play of hugging into the center of the body, of extending through the crown, of lengthening through the heart forwards. From here, releasing hands on bricks if they're upon them. Plant hands to the earth and set yourself back into downward dog. Noticing the difference from one side to the other, perhaps walking the dog. And from here, left leg extends back. Step it all the way through. Bring hands onto thigh to support perhaps before rising into the pose. Keep drawing that right hip forwards, activating the legs. Engaging through the lower belly. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Hands come down to the earth, maybe coming onto your bricks. Begin to straighten that left leg and then plant the right foot to the earth. Toes facing forward about 45 degrees. Left hip drawing back, right hip drawing forward, so you're nice and even through the sacrum. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Lengthen and fold. This sense of surrendering into forward bend, calming into the nervous system. I find a long stance with the feet further apart really allows the space to expand into this pyramid pose. Making sure the outside edge of the back foot is connected to the earth. And depending on where you are and your hamstrings, of course, finding the option that allows you the space for expansion, for exploration of the edges of the pose, the edges of your body as they interact with the space that holds it. Moving hands, planting to the earth, step back. Downward dog. Again, walking the dog from side to side. Steadying in the pose, inhale, right leg extends back. Exhale, step it through. Find your way into a high lunge once again. Hands rise to the sky. Interlink the fingers behind the back. Lift up through the heart. Make sure that you've really grounded into the connection of the legs to the earth, to feeling the rooting down through the feet, and at the same time the thighs hugging in and up towards one another. And from that, keep that and bow yourself forwards, coming to the inside of the right thigh. The strong power of the legs drawing in and up to the central axis of the body, the heart melting down, surrendering to the earth. Hands come to the earth. Straighten once again, find your way to pyramid pose. Once you've found the foundation, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 2 more flows of lengthening like a wave and exhaling to fold. Lengthen and fold. From here, bringing the left heel, or rather the left arch, into alignment with the right heel. Begin to bend the right knee over the right ankle. Right forearm can come onto the right thigh. Left arm extends up to the sky and then reaches over. Vashistasana. The shoulders moving away from the ears. The tailbone drawing back towards the heels. Open to warrior 2. Straighten the leg for a moment. Turn palms up towards the sky. Keep that openness through the heart. Bring the knee back down over the ankle and turn the palms down, facing to gaze beyond the middle finger. From here, the left hand spins down to the earth. Come onto the outside edge of the left foot and either keep the right foot supporting, otherwise press the feet together and find your way all the way to a side plank. For 3, for 2, press down, lift up, and for 1, hands come to plank position on the earth, and either taking vinyasa or coming to downward dog. So either coming through vinyasa, heart opening cobra up dog, or meeting in downward dog. Let's do that again on the left side. Inhale, left leg extends back. Step it through. Rising into high lunge. Settling into your high lunge, feeling roots extending down into the earth, right hip forward, and feeling the ribs hugging back towards the spine to activate that core. Bring hands together behind the back, lift through the heart, and bow yourself forwards. Bowing down to the earth, surrendering, finding this mixture of power and strength with softness and grace. Hands come down to the earth and find your way into pyramid. Bring the back foot to the earth, facing forwards about 45 degrees. Find the feet tracking, hip distance apart. Left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Lengthen and fold. From here, edge that right arch of the heel to align with the left, or rather the right arch of the foot to align with the left heel. Bend the left knee and find yourself coming towards Vashistasana. So left knee is over left ankle, right hand to the sky, and then extend up and over, shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Feel that center of the heart opening up towards the sky whilst the tailbone tracks down towards the back heel. From here, opening up into warrior 2, giving our leg a momentary break as we turn the palms to face the sky. Reach out and lift through the heart. Keep that. Turn palms down and extend into your warrior 2. Feel that same action of the lower ribs drawing back to spine, the tailbone extending down. For 3 more breaths, hugging thighs in and up to the body. For 2. And for 1. Brain conundrum coming up. Watch as I give you the cue. Bring the right hand down to the earth. Come onto the outside edge of the left foot, the right foot, that's confusing. Left foot is either supporting you, or you can bring them both onto one another. Squeeze the legs together and find your way to side plank. Vashistasana If you're in side plank, pressing down deeply through the hand, lifting through the fingertips, extending out through the feet, hugging the thighs together for the count of 3. For 2, slow counting. And for 1, hands to the earth. Choose your option with that compassion, that calmness, that curiosity, either vinyasa, downward dog, or child's pose. Listen, and with a slowness, a sweetness, even as the fire of the practice maybe is a little stoked, we bring that same spaciousness and calmness to how we approach it. Wherever you may be, find your way to child's pose. Resting in child's pose, perhaps big toes together, knees wide for wide knee version, creating a pillow for the forehead if necessary. And take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Rock yourself forward, all fours. Tuck toes, downward dog. And walk the feet up towards the hands. There you can find the feet about hip distance apart, knees slightly bent as you take hold of opposite elbows. And allow yourself to hammock swing from side to side. And from there, ragdoll all the way to standing. A momentary shake, shaking it out. Hands come onto the hips, right foot supporting as you lift up onto the left toes, lifting that left foot, and now wrapping it all the way around. So when you're balancing, make sure you find a fixed point to gaze at, a drishti, and that will help with the balance. Toes can either stay on the earth, maybe they come and hook all the way around the back of the calf. Keeping the hips facing forward, bring the right thumb to the third eye, left arm wraps round, and then palms maybe come together. And then from here, begin to curl yourself small, 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 hugging the belly back towards the spine as you curl yourself in and sink deeper into the pose. And from here, gently unravel and very slowly extend that left foot back behind you. The hands can come to prayer before the heart, or maybe they extend out long before you, warrior 3. Dropping the back foot back slowly, hands rise to the sky. And from here, open yourself to warrior 2. Finding your way to warrior 2. Straightening that front leg, rotate the left hip to face towards the right leg and extend long, and then let the hand come down to the earth. Maybe it comes onto a brick here, and from there, extend up through left fingertips to the sky, coming into triangle pose. A really lovely long stance to create space in the pose and this sense of unfurling, of opening the heart. Left hand comes onto the left hip, bend the right knee, shimmy the weight forward, forward, and then press down deeply through the right foot to lift the left to the sky. And now extend out through that left foot, deeply activating to support the pose, left hand to the sky, Ardha Hanumanasana. Yoga around your furniture, facing the sofa. Gently, with ease, find your way back to warrior 2. And then hands come to the earth, either step back to plank, straight to downward dog, or child's pose. Choose your option. Finding your way into downward dog, bend the knees a little and walk or step to the front of your mat. Inhale, gaze to horizon. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms, greet the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. Shake it out. Have a little shake of the limbs. And let's take it to the opposite side. Hands on the hips, bend the knees a little. Left foot supporting, right toes rising. Find your drishti, your focus point, and now wrapping the leg around, either toes to the earth or wrapping the leg to hook behind the calf. Bring the hips to face forward. Left thumb to third eye, right arm hooks around underneath. And then remove the thumb from the third eye as you begin to curl yourself forwards, curling in. Feel your very epicenter hugging into this axis of self. And from there, like a sunbeam extending out, reach the hands forward and the right leg back behind, warrior three. Gently sinking, taking care, you might support yourself as you rise into a high lunge. And then open towards a warrior two. So it becomes a dance work of the feet as you adjust between the poses. Straightening that front leg. Rotate the hip forwards and now extend long, long. It might be that you bring your hand onto a brick as the right hand then extends up to the sky. And once you're here, maybe there's an adjustment of the feet to allow for more space, greater opening. For three, for two, and for one. Right hand to the right hip, bend the left knee, shimmy the weight forward, forward, hand to the earth, and find your way to an Ardha Chandrasana. Notice how active my right toes are, deeply extending out through the heel as if there's a wall behind that I'm pressing into, and the right hand can reach up to the sky and feeling the space, the texture of space supporting me as I lean into it. For two, and for one. Gently with ease, find your way back, warrior two. And from here, hands windmill to the earth and simply step to the front of your mat. Feet hip distance apart. The peace fingers can take hold of the big toes. So peace fingers come to wrap around the big toes to meet the thumb. Inhale, lengthen, find space for the spine, exhale, fold. Maybe the knees are bent here to support you, especially if there's anything going on in your back. Inhale, gaze to horizon, exhale, hands on hips. Inhale, rise. Step yourself back. Step so you're facing the long side of your mat, the feet turned out slightly. And from here, bending down, so coming towards a goddess pose. So knees are tracking towards the second toes, the tailbone extending back, and the ribs extending towards the spine. Bring hands onto the thighs and simply take a moment to shift from side to side. So one arm bends, or rather one arm straightens, the other elbow bends. And then from here, bring the left forearm onto the left thigh, straighten the right arm and begin to twist to gaze back over the left shoulder. Finding deep opening, a deep space to the inner groin. 2 more breaths. And shift. Taking the right elbow to the right thigh, straightening the left arm. It's almost as if you're locking into that arm. The shoulder drops forward, allowing you to twist over to the right side. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Release, straightening both legs and bring the second toes to face forward, legs in a long stance. Hands can come onto the earth, maybe there are bricks here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide-legged forward bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Keeping the activeness in the inner thighs, feel them hugging into one another and up, and as you lift up, the sitting bones part towards the sky. At the same time, make sure the weight is as much in the front of the feet as it is in the heels. For 2. And for 1, inhale, rise. Left hand comes to the earth beneath the heart. Right hand comes onto the sacrum. Lengthen through the crown and begin to twist. Extending up to the sky through that right hand. But make sure this sacrum stays nice and balanced, as if you're balancing a bowl of soup upon it. Right hand to the earth, switch sides. Left hand to sacrum. Lengthen through the crown. And twist and extend up to the sky. Hand down to the earth, inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Just taking a moment to flow from the strength, the stability of the legs. Allow the spine to flow like water. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, hands onto hips. Bend the knees a little to activate the thighs. Inhale, rise. Hands to prayer at the heart. Step to the front of your mat. From here, take the feet wide and lower yourself down. Slowly take care if there's any problems with knees here. We don't want any pain. Want to be respectful of knees as you come down to the earth in a squat. And it might be that you have a blanket underneath your heels. It might be that you have blocks underneath your heels. I injured my knees last July and I couldn't do this and a lot of other things. That's why I have the blanket now. And I can't tell you how much I miss this pose. And there's so much grounding that's available when we connect down through the pelvis, through the heels in this way that gravity holds us and draws us down into the earth. Just closing the eyes for a moment and seeing if you can connect into that sense of groundedness, of connection, keeping the weight really balance across the foot. So one thing I really noticed from my knee injury and recovering from it is how the feet in this pose can tend to roll into the arches, which can put pressure on the knee joints. So really activate the feet to keep the knees tracking over the ankles and pointing towards the toes. Hands come to the earth. And through whatever means necessary, step back into downward dog. Sometimes there isn't a glamorous transition. Sometimes we just arrive from one pose into the next. Taking any actions that your body desires in downward dog, and then the right leg extends back and right knee comes into the right wrist. Right ankle comes towards the left wrist, preparing for pigeon pose. Okay, so again, the invitation, if there's any injury in the knee, this might not be the option for you. I'll show you an alternative in a moment. Also know that if like me, you have very tight hips, you might want to support that space underneath the right hip if it's off the earth with a brick. And what that allows is it stops us collapsing into pose like this. You can see how my hip has dropped down. Okay, so we want the sacrum to feel nice and stable and even. Hands can support as we lengthen, and then exhale, fold forwards. And then from here, again, a lengthening and an exhale, fold forwards. If you're keeping the knees safe, lying on your back, Crossing the right ankle over the left thigh, threading the needle as the alternative. I relaxed into pigeon then and forgot. Another couple rounds of breath, grounding down. Rising as you inhale, hands plant, tuck the left toes and the right foot extends back. And then rest down to the earth. Inhale, left foot extends back. Draw it in, finding your way towards pigeon pose. Checking in with the safety, if that knee supporting is necessary, and grounding yourself forward. Remember, if you're supporting the knee, protecting it, the left ankle goes over the right thigh as you lie on your back, coming into threading the needle. I don't know how much the noise is picking up, but one of the joys of this quarantine has been the renovation of the flat underneath me that has continued. And it seems they've just started drilling something. So finding space and calm and compassion and curiosity for what that brings up in you, as I am in what it's bringing up for me. 3 breaths here. Gently rising from the pose, lifting yourself back up into downward dog. The left leg extends back behind you, rotating, moving. And then the foot to the earth. A little bend of the knees, a jump will bring you to sit upon the earth. Simply coming to sit on the earth and extending legs out before you. It might be that you have a block that you're sitting up upon to help with this rotating, or rather the tipping of the sacrum forward, the feet both lovely and active here. Hands can extend to the sky and then begin to fold. If there's anything going on in the back, taking care here, maybe the knees are bent as you fold forwards. And then from here, maybe the hands come to shins, maybe there's a strap, a dressing gown belt, some kind of creative tool to create a strap to come around the feet. But what we really want to keep is a sense of the heart lifting and opening and folding forwards. Lift and open and fold forwards. And once you find wherever you find yourself in this pose, again, this sense of a pause. Can we pause to absorb? Can we pause to register the felt sense? What is here now? Can we pause and connect into this self-energy, this energy of curiosity, compassion, calmness? Maybe notice if there's an energy of improvement, of change, a must, a should. I should be able to get deeper into this pose. Just noticing, naming, and in noticing and naming, creating a space around this experience, a space between the reactivity and the possibility of observing, witnessing, and bringing a loving awareness. Gently rise, 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 rise. Draw the right knee into the body. And then let that knee drop out to the side. So right sole of the foot to the inside of the left thigh. It might be that you're supporting that knee if it's elevated off the earth to really keep it safe. And from here, right hand can come to the outside of the left calf and create a little twist. And in twisting, you're helping to draw the body to extend forward over this leg. And from here, extend through the heart with the fingers merely helping, and then come down into the pose. Maybe hands at either side, maybe there's that strap again, maybe the hand comes to the foot. Wherever you are, find your position, pause, and on your next inhalation, lift the heart, the chest, feel the shoulder blades gently coming together to extend the heart forwards and lead from that heartfelt space. Coming deeper down into the pose. No pain in the knee. If there's any pain in the knee, back away. Injuries are such great teachers for us. Teachers of listening, attuning, honoring, noticing the judgment, the resistance that comes up. Oh boy, was that true when I injured my knees. And suddenly so much became inaccessible. All the reactivity to that, the fear, the resistance. They will become part of the practice. This practice isn't about reaching pretzel status in our body. It's a practice of many qualities of sensitivity. One of them is this awareness, this possibility to witness, to notice our experience, to be in union with our body, to be in union with the soma, the physical body, and all the wealth of wisdom that resides within it. Gently rise, lean back and simply switch sides. Let's take the twist first, the left hand to the outside of the right calf, gentle twist. So the body faces towards that leg, and from here, extending, reaching through the heart, reaching, lengthening forwards. Notice where the shoulders have gone. If they're up by the ears, release that, release the shoulders away. And so it's as if there's a silver thread drawing the heart forwards, drawing deeper into this pose. The eyes can soften. The heart softens. Gently rise. Lifting that knee, bringing both knees in towards the body, giving yourself a hug. We're going to come down into a final main pose, and I'm going to ask for you to have a brick, if you have a brick. Not everyone has props, I appreciate that. Maybe you have something like a cushion. A book would be a pretty good option, like a chunky book, like this kind of book. Doesn't have to be high, but a little bit of height would be useful. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So just for me to demo that, the feet, the ankles are beneath the knees. And from here, we're going to lift and bring the brick on the lowest level. So now you can see the intention of this pose. You can work out what prop might help get you there. Okay, it's nice to have something with a bit of substance to support you there. And with this, I'm probably like 5-7 centimeters off the earth, so it's a gentle very gentle inversion. And from here, the arms come out. So you have this sense of opening through the heart, the chest. Palms facing the sky. And the eyes can close. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then as we're going to be here for the next few minutes, for the breath, I invite you to explore what's known as square breathing. And so whatever the natural count of the inhale is, maybe it's for 3, maybe it's for 4. Count that inhale. Let's say it's 3. And then at the top of the inhale, pause, holding the breath, retaining for the count of 3. At the end of that 3, exhale for 3. And pause at the bottom of the exhale for 3. So like a metronome, our breath follows these 4 corners, and you can imagine yourself breathing around each side of the square. And each side of that square, inhale 3, hold 3, exhale 3, hold out for 3, is this message of real tenderness to your system, your nervous system, that tells us we're safe. There's no threat right now. We can rest and restore. These small gestures have such potency in nurturing compassion and caring for ourselves. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. You have a choice now. You can either remain in this pose for another few minutes. Otherwise, you can lift the hips, remove whatever support you have, and hug the knees into the body. Taking a twist of the spine, the knees into the body, drop over to the right side. The arms at 90 degrees, the gaze to the left. Just releasing from this pose. Coming back to center, dropping knees the opposite side. If you're staying in bridge, you can continue with this square breathing. If this feels nourishing, nurturing for you, this listening and tending to you, yourself. Otherwise, if you're out of bridge, you can simply transition to Shavasana, your relaxation pose for these final moments. Resting with the support of the earth, wherever you may be, feeling gravity drawing you down, grounding you in the constant presence and support of the earth. If you're in bridge pose, lifting the hips, moving props, lowering down, hugging knees into the body, and gently windscreen wiping one way and the other to release the back. If you're in Shavasana, the fingers and toes simply begin to move. And in your own time, all making your way to lie upon your right side. And then very slowly, without rush or pressure, find your way to sit in a final meditative seat. Hands can cross maybe over the heart, maybe they feel drawn to support a part of the body. Perhaps there's a hand placed upon our Manipura, the solar plexus, And this exploration today of another way of being in the energy of doing, another quality that might be possible, one where choosing to act might mean choosing to do less, where our choices, we cultivate awareness of what the driving beliefs, energy, narratives are behind them. Where there is a must, a could, a should, and naming and noticing and honoring of that energy of evolution and seeing if it can be held in a space of compassion, curiosity, and calmness. A final poem which I read on Sunday, but I just felt drawn to share with everyone this week because it feels so appropriate. There is more to life than conquering mountains, than expanding all of your efforts on achieving a singular goal without taking a breath or time to savor the view. Slow down. You're allowed to set up camp once in a while, to set yourself aside some time to renew your heart, to lie your head back in the soft grass and marvel at the stars. May we all find space in whatever scenarios we find ourselves at this time to renew our hearts. Hands come in prayer, and the final sound of an Om and 3 Shantis, peace, peace, peace for all beings, following the inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hands in prayer to the third eye, to the heart, back down to the earth. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you all. Come.